Hello, mutant investors. This week I'll be talking a little bit about merger arbitrage. Check it out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of my YouTube channel on special situations investing and my personal investing practice. As a quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. Any companies that I mention in this presentation are discussed solely for illustrative purposes. Discussing such companies and the specifics about them is to help educate me and educate you about certain special situations. It is not a solicitation to purchase them. I recommend that you conduct your own research and identify why you might want to own the company yourself prior to your committing of any funds. I also recommend that you seek the services of a financial advisor that has considered your personal situation as your fiduciary. And then finally, may your education here grow your knowledge, improve your personal investing performance, and give you the confidence to take control of your future. Thanks a bunch for watching. Now on to the video.
Over the past couple of weeks, I've featured Petroteq, Twitter, and Activision, all as merger arbitrage candidates that I found interesting or of note that I wanted you as a viewer to take a look at. And this week I thought I'd just spend a little bit of time talking a little bit more about merger arbitrage and some of the things that people might be thinking about. So the first one, let's dig into Petroteq. So Petroteq this last week on the 18th, they announced that Viston AG, the acquiring company, made a decision that they would go ahead and completed the filing for the committee, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, or CFIUS. And the CFIUS is one of the last hurdles that was required for that merger to complete. And the CFIUS has a couple of things. This is a committee. For those of you that missed the first video, this is a committee that allows the strategic leadership in the United States to identify whether or not they want to allow certain patents and certain abilities to go outside of the United States from publicly owned companies. Well, Petroteq has some oil extraction technology that probably is the reason why there is a requirement for this, because oil is one of those strategic resources that the United States will probably maintain control over. Either way, Viston AG went in, they applied for this, they submitted their official proposal on the 16th of May. They have not received the response back from the CFIUS board, and that CFIUS board, once they acknowledge that they've received all the submission on this paperwork, they have a 45-day window to respond. And if they want to do additional diligence, they can extend that for another 45 days. But usually this is something that allows them to just basically review what's going on with the investment and determine whether or not this is a capability that they want to maintain control over in the United States if it's strategically important. We'll see where this goes, and to me, that was the last hurdle prior to Petroteq being purchased by Viston AG. So it may be a deal that finishes up sometime in the next quarter, I would imagine. Viston AG did announce when they filed this report, they did state that they would let their shareholders know that the CFIUS board has accepted their paperwork for this. When we think about mergers, we also have to recognize that there is a certain level of uncertainty that's involved with this. Warren Buffett, when I talked about Activision Blizzard, he said, there's regulatory approval that's required prior to the Activision Blizzard purchase of Microsoft to go through. The same thing happens with the CFIUS from Petroteq and Viston AG. And there's additional merger requirements or Department of Justice requirements and hurdles that have to be followed through as an investment goes through. And probably one of the more interesting, and it's making headline news right now, is the Spirit Frontier JetBlue saga. And if you're not very familiar about it, I'll just give you a brief overview. JetBlue has issued a tender offer for a hostile takeover bid for Spirit Airlines at $30 a share. Spirit Airlines is basically trading at about $20 a share, so a 50% return. That tender offer is good until the vote between Spirit Airlines shareholders and their decision on whether or not they're going to go through with the Frontier Airlines bid for Spirit Airlines as part of a joint merger between the two companies. The interesting thing about this is JetBlue is stating that the regulatory hurdles are the same for Spirit Airlines as they are for Spirit Airlines and Frontier as they are for Spirit Airlines and JetBlue. However, the CEO of Spirit Airlines, Ted Christie, he's saying that this bid from JetBlue is illusory and a distraction from the Spirit Frontier merger. And I think really what it is Spirit Airlines has this value that I think a lot of airlines are realizing that they have to hit. Most of the time when you think about a business cycle, this is where a lot of the mergers will come about. And one of the things to consider with this one is, because the airlines have been hit so hard over the past couple of years due to COVID and the pandemic, they are dealing with a lot of losses, and a lot of the mergers are occurring because there's a lot of unprofitability in the industry. I would imagine that this, over time, though, it will heal itself. It's just right now it's going to be a little frustrating. That does make it it's just interesting to me that this is where we are going right now, and that is more of just a fascinating thing that I came across as I did my research this week. That uncertainty is also something that came up a lot recently with Elon Musk's Twitter activity, and him saying, well, I don't know if the deal is going to be on or off, and we'll see how that turns out. As I said, I have a little bit of money invested in long bull put spreads on the Twitter activity. We'll see if that comes through fruition, or if I end up paying a little bit out of pocket for the opportunity to participate in that one. With that in mind, I would like to, in full disclosure, let you know that over the past couple of weeks I've been looking at the Activision Blizzard transaction, and I decided that I would participate in that one as well. And I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm doing a bull put spread, and so I'm selling a put in Activision at, in this case, $95 strike price, and then buying a put at the $90 strike price. And I collected the premium of about $300, so with that, basically that is a $500 risk with the premium of about $300. So it could be a turnaround of about 60% return, and it's expiration in about 2 years. But it could be something that turns out quite well for us. Otherwise, or for me, otherwise I'm risking $500 for it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. If you like these updates, I don't usually do lots of updates with a bunch of different things that are going on, but if you do like this, please hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so that you can make sure that you keep up with some of the transactions that I do. And again, thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you next week.